Hello and welcome to my channel, AB Make It Artwork, where we do what we do to make that artwork for you. And if you're new to my channel, maybe hit that subscribe button, join the AB Creative Crew. We do sketchy art things. And the drawing that you're going to see today is a bit of a fan art. It is Cutie Honey from the series of the same name. I haven't watched the series, but I am aware of it. And I was inspired to draw her in a combination of her recent sort of uniform and stylization and her old one because I had watched some clips from a Devilman Cutie Honey crossover. So that was some of the inspiration for today's drawing. And if you don't know who Cutie Honey is, she's one of those magical girl heroes that's also... Well, as far as I know from the live action and the old one, she was actually an android that had the ability to turn into a magical girl and was a secret agent spy. Yeah, you can see that she was probably the inspiration for Totally Spies, you know, that old Canadian cartoon series. Anyways, today's rant is going to be about disappointment and sort of the importance of experiencing disappointment and just the importance of moving on from disappointment in a healthy way. And there's going to be quite a few different situations in which you'll experience disappointment, and I just wanted to kind of talk about it. So if you've ever joined in art competitions, there's probably plenty out there in the world. I've joined in drawing competitions, coloring competitions in the past. And when I was little, it was a bunny coloring competition. And I think that was my first form of disappointment with art, in that I did not win the coloring competition, but my sister won a placement in the coloring competition. And I was disappointed because, one, I didn't win, and two, she got help from my mom, so she didn't do all the work. I didn't feel that was fair. But sometimes you have to understand with all things in life, there will be a time where it's like you may not feel as happy with the result. And later on with competitions, I've won some, I've lost some. And I think one of the ones that I had lost in, that would have been my second time of disappointment, was a portfolio contest. And I think the only reason I was so disappointed in that one was because of the fact that there was a 3-way tie for third place, which made no sense. And maybe it's just personal preference speaking about the portfolios, but I won't say anything more aside from the fact that having a 3-way tie for third place seems a bit out there. I don't want this to seem like I'm complaining, because these are old experiences. I've moved on. But disappointment comes in a lot of different ways, and maybe losing a competition is one of the ways that you're disappointed. Or maybe you're disappointed because the piece that you're working on isn't coming out quite how you want it to. And the best way to deal with that kind of disappointment is to treat it as a learning experience. Every failure isn't really a failure. It's succeeding at progression, in a way. That you have succeeded in completing your project you tried. You did your best, and you may not get an award for doing your best. In some instances, maybe you don't deserve an award for doing your best, but you should still feel accomplished that you bothered to try. And the consequences of holding too much onto disappointment is that if you feel too disappointed in the end result, in the idea of getting to the final destination instead of the process, it kind of hinders your ability to even try. And I can say that from experience that whenever I didn't try, I would find that I wouldn't do. And if I didn't do anything, I would be in a perpetual state of disappointment. So going off of last video's ramble, it's always best to take things in moderation. You won't always be the best, and that's expected with disappointment. But it's a new learning experience, and that's what you gain from not succeeding. You gain recognition. You gain opportunity. You gain a chance to experience something new, and you can't say that a lot. Well, I guess you could say the same thing for if you didn't feel disappointment. But I think we learn faster or we learn harder when we don't always get our way. And there's a sense of validation in succeeding after a failure. Kind of like stories and how your protagonist can fail maybe at everything and they're so disappointed but they're determined. So you just keep going, and once you finally succeed, it's the best feeling ever. So if you've ever felt disappointed in a piece because you're like, oh, this isn't pretty enough to share, or this isn't cool enough to share, doesn't matter if it's cool enough, just share it anyway. I'm sure you'll find someone that'll think it's the most awesome thing ever. It'll be the bee's knees to that person. And they'll love it. Or people will just love the fact that you try. And that's about all we can ask of anyone, I guess. That when disappointment tries to get you down, it's getting back up and doing again that really helps with your progress. I don't know if this became a rant or a ramble. They kind of go into the same kind of circles. But I hope that what you get from this is that it's okay to feel disappointed. Just don't let disappointment stop you from progressing forward. Like, don't let it stop you from trying to do things to make yourself better. And if anything, like, whenever you fail at something and you feel disappointed, just looking at it as a little time for learning and self-reflection. I think we have less than a minute left in the video. I hope that you guys are having a wonderfully crafty day. And if you're looking to inspire some of your friends, maybe share this with your sketchy art pals. If you learned something new or felt like this inspired you, maybe give it a like. You can find me at my social media. All the links to those are in the description below. And as always, make sure that you do what you do to make that artwork for you. Lots of love. Bye.